What's up guys, it's Tomo Top 10 Wrestling here and welcome to my first ever classic pay-per-view review. I'm doing a classic pay-per-view review, oh my god that sentence, I could barely speak, of TNA Victory Road 2011. The reason I chose this pay-per-view is because a lot of people have asked me to cover the Sting and Jeff Hardy incident in a singular video. I'm not sure I'm going to do that because there's so many videos out there. If you really want me to do it, leave a comment, let me know. But I thought I'd do the next best thing and review Victory Road 2011. But before we do get into the video, my analytics say that the majority of you watching these videos aren't subscribed. So right now, like literally right now, hit the subscribe button with notifications on. Be the first to know when my videos are out. Also, my Patreon is going to be linked in the description below, so be sure to check that out too because I just started it. And if you guys supported it, it would mean the world. You don't have to, obviously, but if you could check out my Patreon in the description, it'll be the top link, patreon.com/top10wrestling. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, let's cut to Facecam. What's going on, guys? It's Tomo Top 10 Wrestling here, and welcome to my first ever classic pay-per-view review. I've got a lot of new subscribers, so a lot of you have probably never seen my face. So if you haven't, hi, really nice to meet you. Sorry if I'm not what you expect me to look like, which I don't know what you would expect me to look like, but either way, this is what I look like. If I am to continue these classic pay-per-view reviews, they're all going to be in face cam, so get used to this face. But yeah, if you want this to become a proper series, leave a like on this video to let me know that you're supporting it. I'm going to review Victory Road 2011, the infamous pay-per-view which saw the Sting vs Jeff Hardy incident take place. If you see me looking to the right, it's because I have notes on the show here, and I'm kind of just checking them, alright? So, sorry if that bothers you. My camera just died randomly, the card just went full, so I've had to reset the recording real quick. But we open the show with Bully Ray versus Tommy Dreamer. There's a promo by Bully Ray to open, and in this promo he says some very interesting things. He says, "Thank God for men like Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan. Men who know how to take a wrestling company to the top." Bully, no they don't. Dreamer comes out, Bully tells him the match is now Falls Count Anywhere, calls him a fatty, and Dreamer starts punching him up. They start taking weapons from the crowd. At one point, Dreamer takes a minion stuffed doll. What do you even call it? A minion stuffed toy, not a doll. Like a massive one from the crowd and starts hitting Bully Ray with it, and Bully Ray starts selling it. Obviously, it's because they're in Universal Studios where the Impact Zone was. Why a fan even had that with them. But the best part about this was Taz going absolutely crazy, like, what is this? Is this SpongeBob or something? He just has no idea that it's a minion. Dreamer at one point also gets a, okay, how do I say this without getting demonetized? An SEX doll. Yeah, Dreamer hits Bully Ray with a trash can lid, and, oh god, this spot. Bully Ray collapses right into the SEX doll in the you-know-what area. And later on in the match, Bully Ray elbow drops the doll and throws it out of the ring out of anger. Like, why would you do that to me? Like, it was an actual person, which was just too funny. Bully Ray sets up a table, he's like, gets on the mic and says, "Devon, this is for you," which leads to Devon's music hitting. His two sons come out, distract Bully Ray. Devon comes from behind. Him and Tommy Dreamer hit the 3D through the table, and Tommy Dreamer gets the win for the 1-2-3. I'm going to give this match 2.75 stars, I'd say. Not the most amazing, like, hardcore match, but it's still a pretty good match overall, I thought, and there were some funny spots in it. Next up, we have Sarita and Rosita versus Angelina Love and Winter for the TNA Knockouts Tag Titles. That was a mouthful. This match from the beginning, after Sarita and Rosita's opening promo, was very much presented as USA versus Mexico. Sarita and Rosita are saying they're going to bring the titles back to Mexico, and the fans are very much chanting USA during the matchup. There was a ref distraction in this match that lasted so goddamn long. I've never seen such a long ref distraction before. So Rosita uses this distraction and is about to hit Winter with the title, but she's holding it so awkwardly because Velvet Sky is meant to run in and take the title off her, but Velvet takes so long that she's literally just standing there with the title like this, which, by the way, the referee's outside, he's facing her in her direction, so how he's not seeing this is beyond me. But Velvet Sky comes out, takes the title off her, yanks it away, but then Winter rolls her up. She rolls up Rosita, I think, was in the ring. But obviously, the ref is still distracted, so Sarita runs in, flips the roll-up so Rosita's on top. The referee is still distracted at this point, So it takes him another 10 seconds to get into the ring, and he still counts the 1, 2, 3. So this roll-up lasted at least like a 15 count. And yes, Sarita and Rosita are your new TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions. I give this match 1 star. It was a botchy and sloppy match. Crowd weren't really into it other than the USA chants that lasted for about 10 seconds. And, you know, as bad as the match it wasn't going to be like a 0-star match because it's not quite, you know, Jackie Gator kind of match. You get what I'm saying? Next up we have Hernandez versus Matt Morgan in a First Blood match. And I cannot remember the last time I actually saw a First Blood match. Like, I just thought it was a stipulation in like SmackDown versus Raw games. But my god, this match was boring. This was during one of Matt Morgan's many start and stop pushes. They tried to get him to be a main eventer, but failed, obviously, many times. This was one of them. The referee took a ref bump that I think lasted even longer than the ref's distraction in the last match. Hernandez squirted fake blood onto Matt Morgan, and obviously it's so that when the ref comes back in, he'll win. But the thing is, Matt Morgan didn't care. He didn't care that there was fake blood on him, that anyone would have figured out, oh, this is going to make me lose. He didn't care. And the fact is, he had plenty of time to just wipe it off because the ref was taking the longest ref bump. But obviously, he didn't. The ref comes back in, sees the blood on him, the fake blood, and gives Hernandez the win because he thinks Matt Morgan has bled. 1.25 stars. Just the logic in this match was... my god, it was a boring match in general, and just the logic and the ref bump. Yeah, 1.25 stars. Next up, we have the X Division title featuring Robbie E, Kazarian, and Max and Jeremy Buck, who, they look very familiar to me. That's because Max and Jeremy Buck, they were called that in TNA, and they were called Generation Me as a tag team, but nowadays, you'll find them in AEW as Matt and Nick Jackson as the Young Bucks. It was so weird seeing Kazarian with long hair. He looked almost unrecognizable to me. The commentators were really emphasizing Kazarian's experience in Ultimate X, which I actually really liked. I think it's good that you emphasize people having experience in these kind of matches, these unique stipulations. And I will say that I think Ultimate X is one of TNA's only, in fact, if not the only, because I can't really think of any others, I think it's one of the only really good original stipulations that they came up with. Pretty much the story of this match is that Jeremy Buck is trying to help Max Buck win the title by himself because it's Max Buck's birthday. So pretty weak story, but it was pretty funny to be fair. So obviously because of that, you see them working together a lot and in control for a lot of the match. There's a really cool spot as Max is about to win, but Kaz grabs his leg as he's hanging, swings him round, and he falls in midair and he hits him with a midair cutter. Really awesome spot there. Robbie E and Kaz are both about to win it. But then first Robbie E gets hit down by Generation Me. Then they take down Kazarian. They swing him around. I don't know if they were going to do like a mid-air move to him, because what ended up happening was Kaz just took a gnarly back bump just from the X onto the ring mat. Like, that looked insane. That looked brutal. Jeremy climbs up the rope and is about to try and win the title himself, but Max is like, what the hell are you doing? This is all about me. I'm meant to win the title. It ends up being a race where Max is on one corner, Jeremy's on the other. They both start racing towards the titles. As this is happening, Max hits Jeremy down. He falls. Robbie E hits him with a ladder, so Max falls down. And while that's happening, Kazarian has climbed to the top and is like tightrope walking the X. Robbie E climbs up the ladder to try and grab the title. Him and Kaz have a tug-of war for the title, and Kaz comes out on top. And pretty much, yeah, he wins the match and retains the X Division title. Very weird finish, kind of an underwhelming finish, just them tug-of-warring and Kaz just grabbing it, really. You know, whatever. But overall, this match was quite good. 3.25 stars is what I'm going to give it. Next up, we have Beer Money made up of Robert Roode and James Storm defending against Inc. Shannon Moore and Jesse Neal. Beer Money are defending the TNA World Tag Team titles. And if you don't know what Inc. is meant to be, it's spelt INK space INC. So basically, Inc. Incorporated. All because they have tattoos. Like, is that really the most interesting thing you could have spotted about these guys? Oh, let's make an entire tag team and their entire name just about the fact they have tattoos. Awful name, and every single time that they mention Inc. on commentary, I just laughed because it doesn't sound right at all. This was a very average match. Overall, I'm going to give it 2 stars. The finish saw Shannon about to hit Rude with a chain, but Jesse Neal's very hesitant. He's like, no, we don't win that way. And this little delay causes James Storm to run in, super kick Jesse Neal, and then the two of them hit their tag team finisher on Shannon Moore to retain. Like I said, 2 stars, below average match, and just quite a boring match in general. Next up, we have AJ Styles versus Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is accompanied to the ring by Ric Flair, and Matt Hardy is really being hyped up by commentary as some sort of killer and like machine. But not gonna lie, I can't really take it seriously because this is when Matt Hardy had braids, and I'm not gonna take anyone with braids seriously as a killer. No offense. There was a spot in this match where Ric Flair poked AJ's eyes, and the referee was looking at it, but just didn't say a thing. The refs at this event were just something else. I think that was a big problem with this event. Probably one of my biggest problems with this show. Just the refs were just so... The ref bumps and everything was so illogical. After Ric Flair poked him in the eye, AJ Styles tried to Pele kick Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy ducked out the way. He kicked Flair instead. Matt Hardy turned around, hit some gnarly DET. I don't know what that was. Hits a moonsault from the top rope and gets a near fall. I thought the match was over there for sure. But the ending was very weird. Styles hit like a corkscrew salt, a really cool top rope move to be fair. He gets the 3 count, but as he was counting, the ref was counting, Flair tried to grab AJ, but couldn't. So he tried to grab the ref's hand, but then the ref counted the 3 anyway. I don't know if that was botched or not, but either way, Styles got the win. 2.5 stars, average match, really. Next up, we have Rob Van Dam versus Mr. Anderson in a world title #1 contenders match. This match had RVD's theme music, of course, as he entered, which is the theme song that I forgot existed. What an amazing theme song. Rob Van Dam, the whole effing show. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. It's like the worst theme song of all time. But I just forgot about it, and it made me laugh when he came out, so I thought I'd mention that. The fans are actually pretty split between RVD and Mr. Anderson, and it's probably the loudest they've been all night as they chant for RVD and Anderson. There's a clear divide in the demographic between who's chanting RVD and who's chanting Mr. Anderson. Obviously, the older men chanting for Mr. Anderson because he's the heel, and you know it's cool to chant for the heel. This match ends when Mr. Anderson is leaned against the ropes. Rob Van Dam runs up to him and cross bodies him. They both spill out the ring, and Mr. Anderson hits the mic drop on Rob Van Dam on the ramp, and they both get counted out for a brilliant, amazing finish. 2 stars. The fans boo and chanted "restart the match," which sounds very familiar to Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt. So nice one. Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt was pretty much just Mr. Anderson versus Rob Van Dam 2.0. I'm just kidding. It was way worse. And then we head in for the main event. Obviously, Jeff Hardy versus Sting. We all know what happens in this match. Jeff Hardy comes out. He is not in a state where he should be wrestling. He comes out with Eric Bischoff. The fact that they let Jeff Hardy out at all was mind-boggling to me. You can tell they're trying to delay the start of the match. The entrances are a little bit longer. The announcer takes a little bit longer. Eric Bischoff cuts like a promo on Sting before the match starts. They're trying to delay the match as much as possible for whatever reason. The match begins, and once again, it's taking a little longer to get into full gear because Hardy is like taunting the crowd with his shirt. Eventually, what happens is Sting pretty much forces a Scorpion Death Drop on Hardy, and then forces a 1-2-3 on Hardy to get the win. The match lasted 1.5 minutes. 0 stars. Yeah, easily, of course, the worst match on the show. Pretty much the match that this show was like famous for was this incident happening. And yeah, 0 stars for it. Hardy shouldn't have been out there. And yeah. Overall, I'm going to give Victory Road 2011 2 stars. Every match other than the X Division match and the Hardcore match that opened the show were either average, below average, terrible, or in the case of Jeff Hardy versus Sting, shouldn't have even happened. The stuff with the referees, this show was just so bad. There were so many ref bumps that lasted, well, there was that one ref bump that lasted so long, the distraction that lasted so long, and the referee in the AJ Styles Matt Hardy match. They seem to have pretty much no power in this match. In this show, I mean, not in this match, but you get what I mean. But yeah, like I said, 2 stars for this show, and that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, smash the like button. It's my first time ever trying anything like a classic pay-per-view review, so sorry if like this isn't the best it can be. If you do want to see this continue though, then smack a like on the video, and I'll definitely consider doing some. Not just TNA, some WWE ones too I'd love to do. Leave some suggestions in the comments which pay-per-view I should review next. I'll see you all soon. Follow me on Twitter at Top 10 Wrestling. My Instagram is at I'm Tom Bell. Subscribe and notifications on. Leave a like on the video. Goodbye, and keep on rolling.